Hello everyone. This chapter my outline is very large. It is covering pretty much the whole chapter. It's a good chapter. It's on food and agriculture. And with Florida being an agriculture state, I felt it was a good idea to go ahead and include the entire chapter in this overview. So my overview will be I will flip through pages and not comment too much on them because I'm limited to 15 minutes on my YouTube. So if I do have to cut back on any of the material, you'll notice at the end I don't say see you next time. I have had to do that in a couple of the previous videos. So if I have to trim the video, then I have to trim it. So I'll just get started with this chapter overview. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. I mean, please. So we do have problems with our food supplies and how we farm, and hopefully we are improving. This chapter talks a lot about soil and the conservation of soil. So the beginning of the chapter talks about food and global food production, and is food distributed evenly? Well, no, it's not. Rich countries have more food. Just go to our supermarkets. Then go to some of the more poorer countries and see what you find on their supermarket shelves, if you can even find a supermarket. We in America are very lucky. We are very rich. We are very food oriented. I admit, I love going out to eat. I love food. I'm always watching cooking shows, and I have gained a lot of weight in the past several years, and I'm one of these happy fat Americans. I have to admit. I know it's not good for me, but I'm always trying to diet. So I can put my hat in there that I'm one of those. So food security, well, it says even in wealthy countries such as the United States, millions lack a sufficient healthy diet. Well, there's a difference between having enough food and having enough healthy food, and whether you're eating a healthy diet. So there are famines, there are, widespread hunger and issues that are caused to cause the farming and the crops to spoil, and we do have problems. But it seems as though in America, for one, we always seem to have the food on the shelves, and we don't seem to have a problem. But there are countries that do have food shortages and things. How much food do we need? Well, we don't need as much as we're getting, I'll tell you that. Here are some issues with malnourishment. Goiters are caused by lack of iodine, and can happen to Americans. And starvation, you can see there, poor child, doesn't get enough to eat, looks like just skin on bones. So this is happening all worldwide, and we can, ship food to these countries, but the problem is these countries are not distributing the food that we are sending them. Here's just an overeating issue, which I've discussed earlier. And here is in 2010 now. 2010, here's America. Here we are, over 60% in 2010 were obese. And in 1960, I'd say less than 50%. So us compared to the other countries, well, the United Kingdom is, catching up to us, but we love to eat, and we're not the only country that loves to eat. So is this good for us? Probably not, because there's a lot of health concerns with overeating and being obese. Here are the most things that we do eat and what are harvested. Some of the common crops in the U.S. Yes, we do love our meat. Some people are vegans and vegetarians and all these other sorts, but I am a meat eater. I love to have a good steak or a pork chop. And we see how much it takes, how much grain it takes to produce a cow, and we see the different amounts of production costs in each of these. We have different types of the way we raise our cattle, and other meat, meat and poultry, how they're housed. We're getting in a lot of organic farming now, free-range chickens, free-range beef. Definitely these last two were not free-range. These are chickens that are put in big warehouse buildings, and they're fed, and then they reach a certain age, and then they go to the slaughterhouse, and that's just the way it is. Seafood, there's all sorts of seafood. Some of it is farming. Some of it is fishing with different types of questionable over harvesting techniques and so forth. So read through these sections, and and there are goods and bads to these things. Yes, there are risks of biohazard because of all sorts of chemicals and disease-causing organisms that can get into our food supply. This section is beginning to talk about our soil, and soil being our precious commodity. What soil is, and how it is needed, and how it can be a renewable resource. List of the definition of what is contained in soil, and here's a picture of basically, soil is filled with living organisms, living and non-living. So we want to be sure that we do take care of our soil. Here is a soil horizon profile from the bottom, parent material, rocky, to the top, where you plant your seeds, and then they grow. And notice the different horizons we talked about just previously. Ideal farming is in the A horizon. And over in Belglade, we have our beautiful black gold, they call it, because the muck in Belglade is where they grow all that sugar cane, and where we get all of our vegetables throughout the year. Deserts, very little soil, basically because the wind blows it all away. Here's the distribution of the cropland, and notice here, Midwest, this is where most of the grains and wheats and things are grown. We do have some in Florida. It's scattered throughout, but these are the major states that do those intense farming. And if you've ever flown on a plane over these areas, you'll see if you look out the window and you can see down that far, all you see is big squares of farmland. abuse of the soil in previous decades has caused farming practices to change. So we're trying to get farmers to use new techniques. And this is just talking about how the land for farming is unevenly distributed and so forth. So here's another here's a world map showing the different type of things that can damage soil and prevent us from farming that land. So, but notice America, it's saying type of erosion. The water basically runs off and causes the erosion. Wind, in the areas where we have the dryness, and the wind just blows the soil away. It's saying that Florida is not cultivated. Well, we know that there are areas in Florida that are cultivated, so I don't know how accurate this map is.